She's finishing up brushing her teeth because, after all, it is midnight there. Hello.
You can just click the red disconnect button.
Are we sure she can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Whoa, that was loud! Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I guess we're recording, so we can start any time.
But I don't have a mic. Hold on, I have to blow my nose now.
Oh,
I had to be perfectly situated, Mom.
Okay. Get your nose blown. Do all the things that need to be done. Oh boy, Dad just got home.
What are y'all having for dinner?
We are having. Let me look up the recipe and tell you.
Some kind of chicken.
Nope, not chicken. Herb crusted pork tenderloin. You want to see a picture
You're
of it?
pulling out all the fancy stops with food now that I'm not there.
And asparagus. It's not fancy. It's just.
Oh, you've never made that for me? You never made it for me?
Hi, Rebekah. How was your Monday?
It was fine.
Okay, seriously though, what time is it? You're in Croatia. What time is it there?
It's 11:37 p.m.
Okay, it's 11:37, and tell us about your day. Like, you just finished your work day, right?
Yeah, I did. I'm gonna fall asleep talking to you.
Okay. That'd be a great first podcast episode, actually. Me talking, you sleeping.
Sounds like everyday life.
Sounds like everyday life.
Oh man. No, my day was fine. I woke up this morning and my goal had been to go and get my stupid fingerprints this morning. But good thing I checked with someone instead of taking I think the bus ride would have been 50 minutes. And it would have been I don't know, it would have been a whole thing. Or train ride, whatever. And so good thing I checked with someone before going there because I had the wrong address again. This is the second time I've been sent to the wrong place. So I texted that girl that I met at church yesterday who's done the digital nomad visa. She's from Texas or something. And I texted her and I was like, hey, just want to check, is this the address that you had said that you also got? And she was like, no, that's the wrong one. That's for if you've lived in Croatia for a year and you need a Croatian background check. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why? That's not what I need. So she found the address for me. It's some random detective's office I have to go to. It's the only place in Zagreb that will do fingerprints for foreigners. So I have to go there tomorrow. Thankfully, it's a lot closer than the other place. Or call them at least beforehand. I'll call them and then see.
Okay, wait, Rebekah, it's a random detective?
Yeah, it's a detective's office, low-key kind of sketchy.
Like solves crimes,
Mom, I don't. He solves crimes and he fingerprints people. I guess that's what he does.
Okay. Well, so you're going to go get your fingerprints done, and then you've got to send your fingerprints to Virginia by mail.
Yes. I have I had to print out a specialized PDF for them to do the fingerprints on. It's not just anything. It's a special PDF and it has a space for all of your fingers. So I have to do all that to make sure my hands are clean. And
we definitely want all the fingers because you could commit a serious crime with this pinky, and if it's not on, just your pinky. So we got to make sure we have all 10 fingers covered for sure. That makes perfect
do you
sense.
Hear that? Do you hear my background noise right now?
I don't hear any background noise.
Okay, well that's good because the trash pickup in this neighborhood happens at midnight. It's literally late at night every single time. I don't know how often it happens. I haven't, because it's there's different trash cans. There's a whole bunch of different trash cans sitting outside every single building. And I swear he comes by and he picks up the trash literally at midnight. I'm getting off work and I hear the beeping of the truck and it drives me freaking crazy. So that's what I'm hearing right now.
Well, I did hear some beeping a little bit ago before you mentioned that. It's a trash
beeping, whatever trash trucks do. I don't know.
Wow.
But
okay, midnight. Yeah. I wonder if they're not allowed to pick it up during the day, maybe some kind of ordinance or something.
I don't know. I think he just really wants to bother me specifically.
I'm sure that's what it is. I want to bother the red-headed American that has moved into the second floor of this building in the last 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. That's yeah. Okay. All right. So hopefully tomorrow you can get your fingerprints done, and you have to get them done in order to get your visa. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, in order to get the background check, which is just one step of the visa, like I have to have a bunch of other stuff, which I pretty much have. The one thing I didn't know I needed that the girl from church told me yesterday is 6 months of bank statements. So I need to figure out how to provide that. But other than that, I have everything.
Well, you should be able to download those off your banking app. You just have to print them, I guess.
Well, I think I can submit everything online. I just have to have the background check. Like, that's honestly, I can't do anything until I have that. But it could take forever. If I'd gotten it done sooner, I could have had them mail all that to you guys, and you all could bring it when you come. But I don't think that would happen in time. So,
yeah, that stinks.
Yeah, because it'll take longer to get to Croatia.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. Okay, so you are figuring things out. You went to church yesterday for the first time, and that was good.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. So
the one friend I made is leaving to go home to Australia tomorrow. So
okay. Well, listen.
Sad.
There will be other friends there. The Lord will surely provide. He surely will.
That's
what?
She's so sweet. I got coffee with her this morning again, and then she had to leave before I did, and I was trying to pay for my coffee before I left, and they were like, "Oh, your friend paid for your coffee, and she told us not to tell you." And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet of her."
Oh,
so
that is sweet.
I know.
I love that.
Yeah.
Does she have a really cool Australian accent?
Yeah, she does actually. I've never met anyone from Australia, so
yeah, it's very cool.
What
did she tell you about Australia?
She told me it's really expensive to live there right now because of everything after COVID, which that sounds like everywhere on the planet.
But didn't you say that she said just do not come to Australia right now?
Yeah, she was like, this is an awful time to come. It will cost so much money. It's the most expensive place. Okay. She told me that Australia has recently put a ban on, not a ban, but a warning for Australians trying to go to the US. They were like, don't go there right now because you may get stopped, or you may not get let into the country. If you go, take a burner phone. I don't know. I wasn't understanding everything she was telling me. She was like, look up Australian news. People are freaking out about the US right now. I'm like, oh, okay.
A burner phone? What, they think they're going to get thrown out because immigration stuff happening, or?
I think so, but I don't really see, if you're just coming as a tourist, I don't really understand. Yeah, I don't know, Mom. Yeah. We need to look it up, but she told me, she said that she's been to the US 4 different times. Most of those times were to California. I think once she went to Colorado. I don't know why. But she said she's traveled a lot, and she was like, the US is the place I feel the least safe. She was like, I don't like to go there. Your currency is weird, and I feel the least safe there. I don't feel like I can walk around alone at night. And I was like, yeah, I don't either. You're correct. I feel safer here in Croatia. So.
Interesting. Well, I feel perfectly safe walking in Hunting Hills. Okay. So
yes, Hunting Hills, which is paradise on earth.
Oh, it is. It is. It is a suburban paradise here, and tucked away in our little Hunting Hills. Why is our currency weird?
Well, she said, we were talking about currency, and she was like, our currency makes so much sense. We don't have weird names for it, like penny and nickel. What does that even mean? She was like, we have the 1 cent, the 5 cent, the 10 cent, the, whatever cent. And she was like, and they're all, the sizes of them all correspond to their worth. So she was like, why is a dime that's 10 cents smaller than a penny? And I was like, such a good question. I've never thought of that before. She was like, what are the blind people supposed to do? How can they tell what they have? And I was like, great question. They just have to memorize U.S. currency, I guess.
That's funny.
She's bringing up stuff about our country that I was like, literally, I've never thought about that before.
Okay, yeah. What is a penny? Where did that even come from?
No idea.
Or
a
nickel.
Dime, a nickel? Yeah.
Quarter? Quarter makes sense. Okay, quarter makes sense. Quarter makes sense.
Quarter of a dollar.
Okay, yeah. Quarter of a dollar is 25. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Well, that's something we're going to need to go to the internet for and Google to find out what is a penny. Where did that name originate?
Probably just some random founding father was like, This
Maybe.
sounds cool.
Well, maybe whoever's on it got to call it what it is. So
True.
who's on the penny? So we had this idea for this podcast, or shall I say, I had this idea, right? Because I feel like we have so many people that are going to want to listen. We're probably going to have two listeners. Actually, yesterday, look, there's your dad. Do you want to say hi?
Can I say hi to the podcast world?
To our vast media empire that we're building here?
Man, I'm nervous. All the hundreds of thousands of people that'll be hearing my voice right now. Wow.
Okay, good. All right, carry on. Anyway,
radio voice.
Dad does have a good radio voice. People are going to be like, can you get this screechy sounding lady off and get him back? Anyway, we had this idea. What was I saying? Oh, because we thought it's going to be so easy, right? We could just get on here. We can talk for 20, 30 minutes like we usually do, like through Marco Polos, and we can share it with our huge audience of listeners. And we thought it would be so easy. And then it took Micah it's so easy. I'll do it. How long did it take him to get this whole setup for us today?
Like 40 minutes. It was crazy.
Right. We were supposed to be starting at 5 p.m. our time, 11 p.m. your time. It's now 5:48, and we've been talking for, 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We're here on Discord.
We're on Discord with all the middle school boys.
Is this where all the teenage boys do their gaming and their bonding?
Yes. And not only that, but we're talking through Discord, but then it's being recorded through some other software on this other screen over here, which you can't see. I'm pointing and you can't see. And then he's going to edit it in yet nary another software. So now this simple podcast that was like, hey, let's just hop on a Zoom call is now we're three softwares in.
That's because if we want to keep up with the industry, Mom, we have to use the correct software.
Well, and Micah, the 17-year-old little brother, knows about the podcasting industry so much because how many podcasts does he listen to? Let's be honest.
That's so true. I don't think he listens to any podcasts.
No, he doesn't. I don't know, because he knows how to use a computer, and I'm marginal at best on that. So anyway, so let's see. You've been gone for exactly 2 weeks and 3 days. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it feel like you've been gone longer?
I don't think I have. I don't think I have any.
That's attractive. That yawn's real attractive for our.
Good thing no one can see me right now, Mom.
They can hear it.
Well, I'm so sorry that it's midnight. Oh, sorry, not my fault. That I got a text 30 minutes before work was supposed to end. That Mom was like, "Hey, let's do our podcast tonight." I almost said no, but then I was like, well, I guess we can. So
we'll see how it goes. What if we sound completely stupid?
Micah, I mean, I'm sure we do, but
yeah, Micah said you're definitely going to sound stupid, but that's the point, is what he said.
Micah said that.
Yes, I said, okay. Is the point for me to sound stupid, or is the point for both of us to sound stupid? And he was like, well, you're both going to sound stupid, but the point is mostly for you to sound stupid. So. Okay, here we are.
That's crazy.
I know. But listen, I can't sass off at him because he's got to edit this stupid thing in order to put it out to our vast array of listeners. So
make sure to include all of the worst parts.
Oh, it's well, I'm going to be approving it before we send this thing out to anyone. If it ever leaves this computer that I'm on. Okay, so does it feel like you've been there longer than 2 weeks? Does that feel right?
I don't even know what it feels like. I'm just like here vibing. It doesn't feel. I guess it feels longer because it doesn't feel shorter than that. Yeah. It doesn't feel like 2 weeks. Yeah, it definitely feels longer.
You've done a lot of stuff in 2 weeks, right? Yeah. So, First of all, you got there and you had a whole situation with your apartment, which I don't know if we'll go into that today. Maybe that can be a future podcast because it's probably quite funny now looking back on it, right? Like how that all played out. Mm-hmm. I mean, just the thought of you lugging 3 50 plus pound suitcases down 5 flights of stairs. I'm not gonna lie, it makes me chuckle. Oh, there's my timer for dinner. So I gotta text Micah and tell him to check the dinner. So we could talk about the apartment saga on a future episode. But then last weekend you went to
Did you see that? No, I didn't do that. I didn't do anything. And now it's not doing it for you, and I didn't even do a thumbs up. Like,
that's so weird. Yeah, who knows? It's Discord. It's who knows, right?
Right. It's not made for us. It's made for the boys.
Teenage boys, exactly, that are playing Minecraft and Fortnite. So
teenage boys and boys in their 20s and
True.
30s. Every man who plays video games.
Good point. That's true, because our good friend Mr. Chris that lives down the street, he has Discord.
That's true.
You know, I guess we shouldn't just say it's for teenage boys. Maybe it's for teenage boys at heart.
I bet Uncle Doug has a Discord.
That tracks. That totally tracks. Yeah. Anyway, and then the following weekend you went to Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. You went to visit Harper, and so that might be a future episode. And then this past weekend, Easter weekend, you had a really fun. Just tell our vast array of listeners quickly what you did over Easter weekend.
I feel like you're interviewing me right now. I don't like to be interviewed.
Well, listen. Otherwise, you're not going to talk about all of the cool stuff you've done if I don't ask you questions about it.
That's true. You know me well. That's a good point.
So I need, yeah.
That's a good point.
Here she goes again, getting her yawns in.
Okay, we don't have to say that. I was hoping Micah would cut that part out, but
Surely Micah will. Surely Micah will cut that out.
Okay, thank you, Micah. Yeah, I went to on Thursday. I took a bus, like a 5-hour bus, and then a 2.5-hour ferry boat ride. It was a catamaran, technically, to the island of Jelsa on Hvar. Or no, the town is called Jelsa. The island is called Hvar. And went there because they have this really cool tradition on Maundy Thursday where they do this procession through the street. But it's not just like a normal procession, because I know like a lot of denominations do processions and like that's a normal thing. But it's like all through the night for 8 hours, 6 different groups of processions walk around the island in something called Zakrejen, which is translated following the cross. And there's a cross bearer. There's a different cross bearer every year. And he usually has like some specific reason that he has decided he wants to be a cross bearer. Like he has a metaphorical cross of his own that he's bearing, like from his life, or something is going on in his personal life, Okay. But there's like a waiting list, like a 20-year waiting list to be the cross bearer. It's like crazy.
What if your name comes up for the waiting list? You're like 95 years old at this point. Like you're like, sorry, my time is up. You guys didn't choose me 20 years ago when I was 75 and put my name on the list. And now here we are. Yeah, that would stink. That would really stink. It's kind of like the Masters. It's like if you put your name on the list and literally you're on your deathbed and you finally get the email that, hey, Master's badges, your name is up, right? And then, okay, great. That would be, yeah. It reminds me of that old song, Isn't It Ironic? You probably don't know it, but Alanis Morissette. All the middle-agers will understand and appreciate that. So you watched this processional.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
I decided, I was like, this would be a cool story. I'm going to like take pictures. I'm going to interview people. So that's what I did. And it was very like, there were a lot of people there, like taking pictures with their phones and videoing. Like it's a huge deal. And people come from Split, people come from Zagreb, other countries, I guess. I didn't meet anyone else who wasn't from Croatia, but I came there and I'm not, but they come from all over to like see it, to be a part of it, whatever. And I like weaseled my way to the front of the crowd to get photos.
Yes.
Because
Why not? Because why not?
Well, here's why. Here's what happened. there were 3 men there that had very fancy big cameras, and they were like getting in the front of the crowds. People were letting them through. They were like, these guys have cameras, like they must be official. At first I was like, oh, they must be official, they must be with a news organization. They had no badges, they had nothing on them to identify themselves in that way. So honestly, they could have just been random men with cool cameras, but they were like getting to the front of like the church, like they were like getting right up in the crossbearer's face, and like no one else was like allowed up there. Like, and I was like, well, this isn't fair. I have a camera. Like, why can't I do that? So truly, it just was like making me upset that these like 3 guys were allowed to do it. And I was feeling embarrassed. And I was like, I shouldn't feel embarrassed. I have a camera. Like, I'm going to get up to the front. And when I started weaseling my way through, people let me. They were like, oh, no, she has a camera too. I was like, that's right. If you act like you are supposed to be somewhere, people will think that you are. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. So
Yes,
I
yes.
don't official at all. I'm a 23-year-old girl. Like my camera was tiny compared to theirs, but I acted like I was supposed to be in the front, and therefore people parted. They parted the sea and they let me through. And so
That's a great story. That's a great story.
Thank you. I was proud of myself.
So did you get in the crossbearer's face?
No. Well, I got in his face like at the end, like the next morning when I went back to the church. I got a really good picture of him like hugging one of his like brothers, and I was like, ooh, this is a good one. Like I was like right there. I was so proud of myself.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Where did you learn this trait of, if you act like you belong somewhere, people will believe that you belong there? Where did you learn that trait?
I think you've been telling that to me since I was like 5 years old.
There it is, people. There it is. You teach your kids stuff when they're 5, and eventually, when they're 23, it all comes back around. The important things in life, they will pick up on it. That's our parenting tip for the day. Okay, well, I feel like we've been talking for a little bit, and we don't want our vast array of listeners to get bored. So it's probably time to wrap it up. Let's do this. Let's wrap up with a high point and a low point. We used to do this. Remember, we used to do this at dinner?
Yeah, I do.
The dinner table. So let's do a high point and a low point for the week. And if you can't think of one right off the top of your head, I will try to think of one.
Like from last week? Like
Right. I mean, today's Monday, so it'd have to be obviously in the last week.
Okay. Probably my high point was Good Friday because I had the day off work and I had nothing to do. And I just sat around and read all day long and looked out at the beautiful Adriatic Sea. I guess that's the sea where I was. And just honestly lived my best life. And it was so nice. My low point was just like not being home for Easter.
Yeah, that was probably my low point too. It was weird this year on Easter was, we only had one Easter basket on the island on Sunday morning because you and McKinney both weren't here. And we only had one of my little chickies sitting with me at church. So that was probably my low point. But I would say my high point would be that... we got the pine straw put out, and you know what a big chore that is every year. We put out like 65 bales of pine straw. So we got it all put out over the weekend. It looks so beautiful. Dad said it looks almost like Augusta National. So
that was always my least favorite Saturday of the entire year. I would make sure I was like, I had plans that day, or like I was working that day, or I would like pick up a shift at Chick-fil-A. If I saw Dad come home with the pine straw like that week, I'd be like, that means this Saturday's the day we all have to be out helping. Like, I'm picking up a shift. I will not be home.
Well, listen, we all know that it was your least favorite, but you made that very clear to everyone. However, I enjoy laying pine straw. It's very satisfying because you see the old, dead, dirty pine straw is covered up with this beautiful, fluffy, and it just kind of transforms the whole entire yard when there's fresh pine straw out. So I feel like there might be a sermon analogy there. Like we could probably preach that, but anyway, I like doing it. It's very satisfying.
I agree. It looks great after it's done. I just don't want to be doing it. But I love it, how it looks. It looks beautiful afterwards.
Yes,
so
that's right.
You're correct.
Well, anything that turns from ugly to beautiful requires some hard work. Let's be honest. I mean, if people could see me now, it's pretty bleak looking. But like, I could go downstairs, fix my hair, put on makeup, and put some work into it, and I'd look a little bit better, right? So everything.
So you're saying your natural face, the way God made it, is not beautiful, because I think that God would disagree. That's how he made you. So
Okay, well, here we go. I'm just saying I smell, I worked out, I went on a walk, I haven't showered today, my hair hasn't been washed in, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. So, you can, all I'm saying is it takes work to make something look good. Okay, so anyway.
It doesn't take me work.
Okay, because you're 23 years old. So if I had your skin, listen, if I had your skin, Miss Priss, good grief. We gotta work hard. I do have good skin. I'm thankful to the Lord for that. My friend Elisa always talks about how unfortunate it is that her husband, Matt, he looks the same year after year, and she has this, 15 product regimen she has to use every night just to attempt to try to stay the wrinkles away. So anyway, that's what you have to look forward to in middle age.
I'm sure Lisa would appreciate you sharing that.
Well, listen. We are going to have such a vast array of listeners. Elisa she'll feel honored to have made it into the inaugural episode of the Crozier Girls. So anyway,
that's so true.
All right. Well, I think that's a good start. So maybe we'll get around to this in another week or 2 or 3. Who knows? Oh, maybe our next episode will be together, because I'll be coming to Croatia soon. So
to get my microphones back.
Yep, get your microphones back. Okay. Well, I love you, hun. Have a great week, and we will talk to you later.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye.